Have you ever noticed something strange? The moment you tell people about a big goal, a business you want to start, a skill you want to learn, a life you want to build, at first you feel excited. People smile, they encourage you, they say, "That's amazing." And for a moment, you feel proud. But then days pass, weeks pass, and slowly the motivation disappears. The dream that once burned inside you becomes quiet. Not because the dream was bad, not because you were incapable, but because something invisible stole your energy. Today, I'm going to tell you a story that explains exactly why this happens and why staying silent about your goals might be the most powerful move you ever make. This is not just a story. It's a lesson about human psychology, about discipline, about how real success is actually built. Listen carefully. The man who had a new dream every week. In a quiet village far from the noise of the world, there lived a young man named Simon. Simon was not lazy. Simon was not stupid. In fact, Simon was full of ideas. Every week he had a new dream. One week he wanted to open a shop. The next week he wanted to learn pottery. After that, he wanted to build a house, then start a farm, then learn carpentry. Simon dreamed big. But Simon also had a habit, a dangerous habit. Before he ever started working, before he ever touched a tool, before he ever took the first step, he told everyone. He walked through the marketplace and announced, "I am going to open the biggest shop in this village." People clapped. They smiled. They congratulated him. Simon felt important. That night, he went to bed feeling successful. But the next morning, something strange happened. He didn't feel like working. The excitement was gone. Days passed. The shop never opened. A week later, Simon had a new idea. "I will become a potter," he declared. He gathered people in the village square. "I will make the most beautiful pots anyone has ever seen." Again, people cheered. Again, Simon felt proud. Again, he never started. This cycle repeated for years. New dream, big announcement, loud excitement, quiet failure. Eventually, Simon grew older and heavier inside. He felt ashamed. He couldn't understand why nothing in his life ever changed. One evening, Simon sat alone near an old stone well. He stared at the water. He felt empty. That was when an elderly man approached him. The old man was simple, quiet, respected. He sat beside Simon and asked gently, "My son, why does your heart look so tired?" Simon sighed. "I have many dreams," he said, "but I never finish anything. I don't know what's wrong with me." The old man nodded slowly. "Tell me," he said, "when you get a new idea, what is the first thing you do?" Simon answered without thinking, "I tell everyone. I want them to know. I want them to be proud of me." The old man smiled softly. "Come with me tomorrow morning. I want to show you something." The two seeds. The next morning, Simon met the old man in a small garden behind his house. The old man held two seeds in his hand. He gave one seed to Simon. "Plant this seed in the ground." Simon knelt down, dug a small hole, placed the seed inside, and covered it with soil. Then the old man held up the second seed. He called some children who were playing nearby. "Look," the old man said, "I have a seed. One day it will become a beautiful tree." The children clapped. They smiled. The old man placed the seed on top of a rock, in plain sight, in the open. Days passed. Every morning, the old man quietly watered the buried seed.
He said nothing about it. No announcements, no speeches, no promises. Simon visited the garden often. 1 week later, a tiny green sprout appeared. 2 weeks later, it grew taller. Month by month, it became stronger. Meanwhile, the seed on the rock never changed. The sun dried it. Birds pecked at it. Eventually, it disappeared. One evening, Simon stood beside the small growing plant. The old man looked at him and said, "A seed needs darkness to grow. It needs silence. It needs protection. When you leave a seed in the open, it dries up. It never becomes a tree." Simon felt something tighten inside his chest. The old man continued, "When you tell people your dreams too early, your brain receives a reward. Praise feels like success. Encouragement feels like achievement. So your mind believes the work is already done, and the fire to act disappears." Simon's eyes widened. Every announcement, every cheer, every compliment, they had been replacing real effort. The old man placed a hand on Simon's shoulder. "Dreams are fragile at the beginning. Keep them quiet. Let your effort speak first. When the tree is strong, everyone will see it. You won't need to explain anything." The silent experiment. That night, Simon made a decision. For the first time in his life, he would try something different. He chose one small goal: build a wooden chair. And this time, he told no one. No announcements, no promises, no speeches. Every evening after his regular work, Simon went to a quiet corner and worked with wood. Some days he felt excited. Some days he felt tired. Some days he wanted to quit. But something was different now. No one was watching. No one was waiting. No one was praising. Only him. And the work. Slowly, the chair began to take shape. Simon made mistakes. He fixed them. He learned. Weeks passed. One evening, the chair was finished. Simon sat on it. And for the first time, he felt real pride. Not the loud pride that comes from words, the quiet pride that comes from effort. A neighbor noticed the chair outside Simon's house. "This is beautiful," the neighbor said. "When did you make it?" Simon smiled. "I've been working on it." The neighbor looked surprised. "You never told anyone." Simon nodded. "I wanted to finish first." From that moment on, Simon kept working. A table, a shelf, a stool, always in silence. Years passed. Simon became known as a skilled craftsman, not because he talked, but because he showed. His life changed, not overnight, not magically, but steadily, because he stopped feeding his ego with words and started feeding his future with action. The psychology behind the story. This story isn't just a story, it's science. When you tell people your goals, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical you feel when you achieve something. So your brain becomes confused. It feels like you already succeeded. That false sense of progress kills motivation. Silence does the opposite. Silence creates tension. Tension creates hunger. Hunger creates action. That's why real builders move quietly. They don't seek applause. They seek results. 3 rules for building dreams. Rule number 1. Stop announcing. Tell fewer people. Preferably, tell no one. Rule number 2. Work daily even when you don't feel inspired. Consistency beats motivation. Rule number 3. Show results, not plans. Let outcomes speak, not explanations. A question for you. How many goals have you shared but never finished? How many dreams faded because you talked about them too early? Imagine what could change if you worked quietly for 6 months, if you stopped explaining, if you stopped seeking approval, if you just built, silently, relentlessly. Final message. The world does not reward intentions. The world rewards execution. Keep your seed in the soil, water it with effort, protect it with silence, and one day people will ask, "How did you do it?" You won't need to answer. Your results will speak. If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, move in silence. Let success make the noise.